Hey guys, today we are going to work on assembling the collar stand on the Classic Oxford. So I've already assembled the collar piece according to the directions and top stitched around the outer edge. If you are using a directional fabric, you are going to want the top of your fabric to be the shorter end of the collar. So I've got the centers marked on each of these, and we're going to sandwich them together. So you want the main collar stand right side up, and then you're going to take your collar with the lining side down and line that up, matching the center on the collar stand. Now you're going to take the collar stand lining right side down and line it up. And all of your centers lined up and matching and beautiful. Now clip these together. You can take out all of those pins now. And now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine. We're going to start stitching at the collar. We're not going to stitch this end piece yet. So start at the collar, go collar to collar. You are going to do this with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is different than the rest of the pattern, which is 1/2 inch seam allowance. This keeps the collar stand from being bulky and keeps it more comfortable. Just take your time, keeping everything lined up. You can do this one layer at a time if you're not comfortable sewing through 3 layers. Like this. Just keep your time, take your time, make sure everything stays lined up. Alright, now I'm going to take it over to the iron. And we're going to press this. I'm going to press the collar stand up on both sides. Just press it really well. Take your time, don't burn your hands. Now, while we're here, I like to take the collar stand lining and go ahead and turn it under 1/4 inch and press that. Watch the steam. So just take that all the way down. So the lining piece is turned under and pressed. Now we're going to attach this to the shirt. Have the shirt laid out. It's the back, and it's marked right there in the center. So find the center of your collar stand. You're going to take the main side and line it right side together with the shirt, lining up that center. Now we're going to ease this into the neckline. These are 1/2 inch marks. Your collar stand is going to extend past the edge of the shirt 1/2 inch on each side. That is your seam allowance. And then this eases together. So you can see when you pull the collar straight, those line up and go together. Repeat on the other side. Again, it extends past the front of the shirt 1/2 inch. Put it in. And ease this together. We're only attaching the main collar lining. We are not sewing through, or the main collar stand. We are not sewing through the lining yet. So we're going to attach the collar stand to the shirt. So again, use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Ease it together. Just go slow so you don't get any puckers or anything like that. Work with the fabric to make it play properly. All the way across that collar stand. See, there we go. When you pull that open, you have to be careful because this part of the neckline is cut on the bias, so it will stretch out more than you need it to if you're not careful. So there, you can see we have the main collar stand is attached. Now we're going to take it over. Oh, I missed part. We needed to go all the way around the curve of that. So, and actually, I do like to do it this direction so that it doesn't shift. And so that I'm sewing to the end, because sometimes the fabric can shift on this curve. So it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and it is just follow that curve around, and it's going to end right with the edge of the shirt. I'm going to do that on both sides. Through. Have those bottom edges folded up. And just repeat it. Another side. Alright, now we need to clip that. So I like to leave a little bit extra down at the bottom to let that seam allowance go in. I find that it keeps the edges tucked in better. So after we clip that, we'll go over to the ironing board again and press this seam where we attach the main collar stand. We're going to press that up. Flip this right side out. Tuck it in and press. You can see how that encloses all of those raw edges in the collar stand. Doing that. See? Work with your fabric. You can use a knitting needle or a chopstick, something like that, to press that out so that you get a nice curve there. Just press that in place. And if you like, you can use hem tape under here to keep that in place while you stitch it. So now we're going to go over to the sewing machine. And top stitch this in place. I like to start the center of the back because it's hidden by the collar. And just top stitch right along the inside of that collar stand. Like I said, you can put hem tape in here to keep it in place. Just go all the way around. Going to restart here because I forgot to lengthen my stitch length. Restart it because I find it's easier to tackle the curve this direction. Work it. And then because that seam gets a lot of wear and tear, and you don't want that to pop out, I usually go over it an extra time. Again, I like to work from the center out. I find that I get less puckering when I do it that direction. I tend to get puckers on the collar stand if I go around in one direction. So, because we're doing this starting and stopping in the center. Those seams, or these, where the seams line up, don't show.